Street apologist. Street apologist. Street apologist. Whoa, on the radio. Street apologist. Street apologist. Street apologist. Street apologist. Street apologist. Street apologist. Street apologist.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Street Apologist Live. I'm your host, VOCAB Malone, in the house. How y'all doing tonight? Always got to readjust some things once the show starts, but you know how it is. We are in business and good to go. It's a Friday night. The time is a little bit after 7 o'clock here in Arizona. And I know it's 6 o'clock for you on the West Coast and 9 o'clock for you on the East Coast. But how y'all doing tonight? Today is already November 15th. Man, crazy. Halfway through November. That's something else, right? Tonight, we're going to be discussing a new poll giving us some data about a lot of things. The poll focused on Black Americans' perspectives and attitudes on the nation of Israel, all right? But in that questionnaire, which we're going to talk about this survey in a little bit here, they also asked questions about Hebrew Israelism. First time it's ever happened this way. So we're going to talk about it here tonight on Street Apologist Live, where we serve the underserved and look into the overlooked. That's right, and this is definitely one of those types of issues. So shout out to the live chat. I see some of you guys talking about stuff from yesterday's show. Not going to mention what. What's up, though, Nate and Randy and Andrew? How you doing, Andrea? Hey, what's up, D New? Hey, what's up, Read Romans 4? And what else is up to Never Give Up? And DHC, how you doing tonight? Good to see you. And we got a couple other people joining us, such as Warrior Woman, all the way from Australia. And it's a pleasure to see everybody. Go ahead and hit that like button, please. And then grab this link and share it. Few things before we get started while people are coming in. Number one is I got a super dope cup right here. The illest type of drink. I always be having the magical types of drinks. You don't know what this is because it's custom made. Infused with an energy drink. Very natural flavor. Smooth. Gotta like that. And no one's promoting this, but you know what I've been getting now? I just started beard oil. That's right. So I just started this one. I got a friend named King Ginger, and they gave him his own Christmas blend. The folks over there at Yukon. So I've been trying it out, and so far so good. It literally smells like Christmas. I don't know how they did it. It's got like cloves, cinnamon, orange smell to it. It's really cool though. I'm sure the anti-Christmas crowd's gonna be real upset that it's got a picture of, but actually it's just the guy. It's just the guy with the hat on. But you know, it's been pretty good. I think I put it on right before the show, so my hands still have a little bit of oil on them. Hopefully that's all right. But you know what? I was looking at it and I was like, you know, it's a Friday night. Hey, what's up, Miss Titus 2? How you doing? What's up, JT? How you doing? What's up, Now or Never? What's up, Shiloh? You know, and I was like, hey, you know, it's a Friday night, you know, and so we should just go ahead and start off with a freestyle. And I was thinking, you know, every now and then I like to do written verses, you know, where it's like, you know, kind of like stuff that is actually verses and then incorporate some freestyle into it. I haven't done that in a while. I think I'm going to do it. And yes, we are going to be going live again tomorrow as well. We're going to be discussing the Hebrew Israelite who was a cop who might be losing his job over it, believe it or not. But first, I think I want to turn down this white light. By the way, I'm looking over at my Star Wars glass over there. Not a big fan of Disney, and the whole Disney Plus thing is a little bit irritating. However, I had to tap into it a little bit. Why? Because they got The Mandalorian. Has anyone else seen The Mandalorian? Mandalorian is dope. Man, oh man, oh man, for real. All right, so with that, shout out to everybody who's been making the GoFundMe for my birthday month for these security measures. Good, it's coming along. I forget where it's at now, but I really do appreciate you guys. And let's just start off with a freestyle. Jonathan Soko drops a beat. I go ahead and do it. And the reason we do this is because when you guys give a certain amount of the super chat, I do a freestyle, and I owe you guys so many. So let's just start off with one. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. Ha. That's right. Get the beat in. Here we go. All right. Yeah. In the room, zoom in, focus. Jesus the Christ, the freshest, dopest. Controls the globe from snow to locust. Made it all hold supernovas. In his hand, his plan is grand. Great I am, he is a God man. Capitan of salvation, the event, advent, he'll do it again. Backing on sin, making enemies friends. Slaying the grave like Blau Mac 10. Conquering death with the resurrection. Been a sin dead, but coming again. Listen! Yeah. So good. Yeah. Rock don't stop, the rock that don't roll. Blessed be he will rock my soul. Rose of Sharon on the third day, bros. Lion of Judah won't lie, no. Go with the palm leaf, raising wave. He's worthy to praise, he saved Yahweh. People from sin make him born again. The lion was scorned by firemen. Violence, stay silent. It was atonement like a Cheyenne. LPCD or MP3. Praise the Lord for the empty tree. Praise the Lord, he's coming back for me. Maranatha, ha. Maranatha, come quickly. Maranatha. Crush it, get. Oh, the beat's over. Oh, well, okay. We'll just do that one for now. You guys want to do one more? Some of you guys don't want to. So that was like partially written. I just messing around. You know what? Let's do one more. Let's we'll do one more real quick. All right, so hold up. We'll just do one more and then we'll get this. We're gonna get in the show started. We got some serious. We got some serious. Stuff to discuss. We will get to it, but let's do this. Yeah. I was dead. Yeah. I was dead. Yeah. I was dead. Yeah. I was dead. Ha. I was dead, not alive, now alive, not dead. I was dead, not alive, now alive, not dead. I was dead, not alive, now alive, not dead. Yeah. Lost in sin, but since then been tossed in the ocean. Convinced men to do the same with devotion. Not a plain convention, but a strange invention. Page was written and the age was mentioned. Chosen hold unto predestination. Seek the text, the best explanation. Dead, not alive, now alive, not dead. Ephesians 1, no one to seek his son. Reading Paul's letter to the road man. So now I know that no man is deserving, no working is ever working, but he is worthy, and that's a sure thing. I'm observing that he is searching us out, no doubt, can't figure it out. Most deaf, no doubt, yeah. I was dead, not alive, now alive, not dead. I was dead, not alive, now alive, not dead. I was dead, not alive, now alive, not dead. I was dead, yeah. Dead, not alive, now alive, not dead. Dead, not alive, now alive, not dead. I was dead and not alive, now alive, not dead. Verse, yo, and it goes. God got me open like a speakeasy. The password was free, AD 33. Man, I wonder's own sinner, inside a cold winter. Grace by faith into the keyhole inner. Bread alive, my soul dinner. The keeper of the door said open and enter. Can you find who is the true vine? When you read John 15, 2 through 9, he blew my mind when he flew through time to make me free, so you know that I'm part of his crew. Now his name is mine, an adopted kid, try to grab me in, nail in his palm, now my sin is gone. Psalm 22 verses 6 and on, sacrifice that was unheard of, dead not alive, old man murder. Dead, not alive, now alive, not dead. I was dead, not alive, now alive, not dead. I was dead and not alive, now alive, not dead. Yeah, so go.
Imagine this, no gun, no knife. It's a one-on-one, now we got the fucking. Imagine this, no gun, no knife. It's a one-on-one, now we got the fucking.
Ha ha ha. My man, Mr. Phil Fox. My man, Mr. Phil Fox. He caught what was up. Mr. Phil Fox, he saw what was up. I got you. Alright, just starting off the show, a little bit of fun. Now let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen, and begin this show. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up an internet article right now. Just give me a second to actually bring it up here, because this is what we're going to be discussing here today. And some of you may have seen it, and others of you have not seen it. Alright, making it like that. Getting set up here. Let's see here. Okay. Let me adjust something on the screen here. Need to get this kind of set up a little bit better. Just give me a second. You guys know sometimes when I share my screen, sometimes it takes a second to get it how we really want it. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. Put this over here. And then, well, you know what? Yeah, that kind of makes more sense. Let me change this because I want to have it a little bit better. I had it all set up, and then it kind of changes a little bit. Okay, change that like that, and enlarge it. That way I'm kind of on the side here. I don't know what that is with the water it shows. It's not supposed to do that. Okay, this what we're going to look at is really one of the only kinds of things I ever know that I've ever heard of that was done like this. So it's what you would, I think, consider a landmark survey. I think that's an apt description to what we're going to be looking at today, okay? And so let's start right now with this article that's pretty new, if you notice, right? African Americans, I'm just reading the article here, have mixed opinions and often no opinions on Israel. This is from the Lifeway blog, you see, and the same article appeared at Lifeway Research, and that's where I'm going to be reading it from. Let me read it from the Lifeway Research site, okay? And so we're going to walk through some of this and look at it, and we're going to stop at some very important points. Hey, thank you very much, Mr. Phil Fox, for the super chat. Oh, wow, you really hooked it up. I just picked up your book. Oh, praise God. Well, Mr. Phil Fox, thank you. I mean, these super chats help. Full-blood Native American, a follower of Christ, and not a Hebrew. You know what? We're Abraham's seed by belief in Christ, but I'll drink to that. It's just Red Bull, just so you know. But seriously, thank you for that. Okay, so let's do this. It's time. It's time to really take a look at this. I think you guys will find this data absolutely fascinating. Okay, so views on Israel and Palestinians among African Americans. I'm going to read the article here in a second. I'm just showing you some of the graphs first. So this is just black Americans, right? I'm a supporter of Israel's statehood. Agree, 52%. Disagree, 18%. Not sure, 30%. That's why the article is titled, Often No Opinions. Do you see this 30%? That's a really high number of people who are unsure about this question among the community. Israel denies basic human rights to Palestinians. So, what do they think of that? Is a question here, okay? 43% say agree that they do. So it's not a majority, but it's a big number. 18% say they disagree. 38% not sure. Now look at this. Similar to the last question, but look how this one's answered as well. Okay, this is why this is absolutely fascinating data. And notice, posted November 5th, 2019. So this is cutting edge stuff. Lifeway, for those who don't know, was a chain of bookstores, but it's sort of a publishing distribution arm of the Southern Baptist Convention, which is the largest Protestant denomination in the United States of America, the SBC. And there's Broadman Holman Publishers, and that's connected to Lifeway. And it's all SBC related. Now, the physical stores have closed down, but one thing they do is research to help understand the lay of the land among Americans and evangelicals better. And I think they do a good job, and they're covering questions. They're starting to cover questions no one else is covering. I think that's fascinating. Look at this. Israel is regularly attacked with bombs and terrorist acts by Palestinians. Half of black Americans say yes. 18% say disagree. 32% say not sure. This is fascinating data. Now let's read the article by Aaron Earls, okay? I'm going to make it larger here. I think you guys are going to appreciate this. I know, this street apologist, is a little bit different. We start off with a freestyle, and then we get into some other stuff. And again, thank you, my man, Mr. Phil Fox. Why am I not able to make this larger? I usually am able with this command, and it is not letting me. Okay, so if that's the case, I wanted to be a little bit larger. It's not letting me, so I'm just going to increase the size of my face here, which will make some of you upset. Some of you appreciate it, but I'm going to try to make best use of the screen here as it can. And so just give me a second to mess around. It'll be basically as big as it. Yeah, that takes up that whole side. Okay, so I'm going to read this. I apologize I can't get it a little bit bigger, though. It looks like that's as much as it's going to let me do, okay? Alrighty, okay. I think that is going to have to go. All right, so Nashville, Tennessee. American Jews and African Americans often worked side by side during the Civil Rights Movement, including when rabbis walked with Martin Luther King Jr. and the March to Selma in 1965. That's true. You can find some famous pictures of that online, okay? In more recent years, however, the relationship has become more complicated due to conflicts between the Nation of Israel and Palestinians and the resulting political responses from groups like Black Lives Matter. A new study from Lifeway Research explored African Americans' thoughts about Israel, Jews, religious identifications, news consumption, and other issues. On many of the issues related directly to Israel, African Americans frequently say they're unsure what to think. Needed social reform in the U.S. may have distracted African Americans' attention from following challenges in Israel, said Scott McConnell, executive director of Lifeway Research. That hasn't turned many African Americans against Israel, but leaves many with honestly no opinion on matters of support, conflicts, and even history. Okay? So they're sort of editorializing to an extent the data that we're going to look at. This is actually not the report. The report itself is 120 pages, which we are going to look at a little bit later. Victorio Guerrero, why do you say that I'm a dog? Somebody put the dog icon in the live chat. I can't do it right now. Someone do it just to play along. But yeah, my mods probably aren't going to allow you to do that. My mods are kind of more gangster than I am a lot of times. Every now and then I turn into Myth Malone, as they say. But hey, someone put some dog emojis. There you go, Nate. Put the puppy one too. Thanks, man. Just having fun with you guys. Thoughts on the nation? Thanks, Gerard. There you go, Gerard. Got the puppy one. All right. Any other dog emojis? I think that's it. I think that's all I've got. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Was that a cat? Someone put a cat. What's up with you, Turtle House? What's wrong with you? Thanks, Christy. All right. Thoughts on the nation Israel. Nation of Israel. The study sponsored by the Philos Project. Now, the Philos Project is very interesting, and I have some friends that I have one friend in particular. Okay, so I don't want to exaggerate. I have a friend in particular who's not on the inside of the Philos Project, but he is in contact with people who are on the inside of the Philos Project. And he gave me some information, some of which I'll relay, other things which I can't relay. But I'll just say this. They're trying to really do good work, and I look forward to see what they're going to do in the future. We'll see. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean I agree with everything, by the way. You guys know I'm not dispensational. To those who have an understanding of eschatology, you probably know that affects some of how I view this. Nonetheless, I think these issues are complicated, and I'm learning all the time. So let's keep on looking here, all right? Okay, here we go. Thoughts on the nation of Israel. The study, sponsored by the Philos Project, found African Americans are more likely to say they carefully follow domestic policy, 68%, than say the same about foreign policy, 59%. So it's true, but it's only 9% difference as well. Now, I think we could speculate on the reasons for that, and I think they would be commonsensical. Continuing on, with Israel specifically, 42% of African Americans have a positive perception of the country. More than a quarter, 27%, have a negative opinion. A third, 32%, aren't sure. If I misread anything, let me know, and I'll try to fix it. 3 in 5, 61%, say a political candidate having pro-Israel policies would make them neither more nor less likely to vote for that candidate. So that's interesting, I think, right? African Americans are divided on the amount of help the U.S. offers to Israel. While 3 in 10 say the U.S. is doing the right amount, 23% say it's too much, 12% say it's not enough, and 35% aren't sure. Half, 52%, say they support Israel's statehood, while 18% disagree. 3 in 10 say they're not sure. 2 in 5 African Americans, 39%, say the international community denies basic recognition as a nation to Israel. A quarter disagree, and 36% aren't sure. Notice, those who say, hey, the international community denies basic recognition as a nation of Israel, 39% black Americans. 36% aren't sure. Those are really close numbers. These are clearly numbers in flux. Oh, Darna Torres, hey, we love you. You are welcome here. I want you to know that. But I got to tell you, I'm not sure why you're recommending Gene Kim. I don't know. I just know we all have different people we like. But I think there's a lot better people who attack what they see as problems with Calvinism than Gene Kim. You know, my brother Mike Winger, if you're going to want to hear what a smart non-Calvinist has to say, Mike Winger does a good job. You know what? Even Leighton Flowers. You know, I think sometimes the Calvinists are too hard on Leighton Flowers. I'm a Calvinist. I see some of you asking, because the rap I did in the beginning was very reformed. Leighton Flowers is, so I think a lot of Calvinists should give him a break, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I think Michael Brown I like hearing him on the topic. I love hearing him. He did this debate one time where he was both sides of the issue. He was a reform guy, then he switched, and then he was an Arminian. He's good. I mean, for back in the day, I thought Geisler was good, and all due respect to Geisler, I don't think that was his strongest area, although the book Chosen But Free has some interesting parts in it. Some people like Roger, what's his name? I think Roger Olson and Jerry Wallace, I think. They're more philosophical. William Lane Craig does some stuff on it. I mean, none of these guys do I really agree with, although some of them I think are good popularizers, some are more in the academic tip. But I respect all of them. I love them all as my brothers in the Lord. But man, Gene Kim, I don't know, Darna. I'm just saying, I think there's better critics of Reformed theology than Gene Kim is all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have the best critics of our position, you know what I'm saying, who are out there. And so I try to give you some that I hopefully are helpful. You know what I'm saying? All right. Continuing on here. Let's look here. Now that's going to lose a lot of people right there. You know, it is true, man. There is a little bit of a cancel culture, even among Christians. You know what I'm saying? Like, people just be tripping, man. You have one position they find out you don't agree with, and they'll just cancel you out. And, I get it, but you can't make everyone happy on the internet. Now, I try to work with people, but some people will just never, once you give a position, they're gonna peace out. But, you got to be honest about who you are and what you believe, you know what I'm saying, what you think is right. Anyways, back to the issues at hand. Okay. Among those who support Israel's statehood, 71% say a reason They do so because every nation has a right to exist. And 30% say it's because Israel is the historic Jewish homeland. So there's different reasons why people say Israel has a right to exist. By the way, it is true that some in the Muslim world, we'll just say some of the countries that are, kind of official Muslim countries, they don't agree with that. There are countries without Israel on the map. There are foreign leaders who say that they want to push Israel off the edge of the sea. These are real things, Anyways, some African Americans point to religious reasons for their support. 28% say it's because Jesus was a Jew. 25% say they support Israel's statehood because it is important for fulfilling biblical prophecy. Those are the dispensationalists amongst us. And 24% say the Bible says Christians should support Israel. Okay, this is very interesting. Notice all those are really just around a quarter, though. So people's reasons are interesting. I like the survey because they try to get people's reasons for what they were answering. You know what I'm saying? I think that's good. Another 24% say their religion. Wait, hold on, where'd it go? Oh, another 24% say their support is influenced by Israel being the United States' closest ally in an unstable region. I think that's true, although I think the United States has turned its back on Israel, and Israel doesn't always do what the U.S. wants it to do. And so there's sometimes where Israel's like, yeah, well, you can tell us whatever you want, United States, but we got to do what's best for us. At the end of the day, that's what Israel's going to do. And really, at the end of the day, it's what every country is going to do. Or at least, I'll put it this way, what they think is best for them. You know what I'm saying? That's where the issues of wisdom and truth come in. You know what I'm saying? What countries think is best for them. Still, other African Americans speak of Israel being a needed refuge for Jews after the Holocaust, 15%, or the safest place for religious minorities in the Middle East, 11%. Civil rights connections. Many African Americans see historic connections between themselves and Jews during the Civil Rights Movement. A significant number of African Americans also draw comparisons to their overcoming struggles as a people and that of the ancient Israelites. So this is where it starts to get interesting. Now look. This is brand new research. Now, this is editorializing of the data. And there's a little bit here, I'm going to show you the data up close and personal, okay? I've got the report, okay? But this is editorializing of the data. So check this out. There's a lot of interconnected issues going on here. As you can already tell, this is a sophisticated topic, complicated topic, rather. Hey, what's up, Liza? How you doing? And I saw you today helping out again. Thank you so much. You just be killing it. Hey, what's up, Kimberly York? What's up, Sean? What's up, lovely man Ray too? What's up, Judah Line? You know we love you, Judah. You know that, right? You know what I'm saying? I hope you know that, man. And what's up, Strive to enter in through the narrow gate? What's up, Keith Kirkland? Shout out to all y'all. All right. So check this out. Here's where it starts to get interesting, though. A significant number of African Americans also draw comparisons to their overcoming struggles as a people and that of the ancient Israelites. Let's look at that. Now, again, all you got to do is, if you're familiar with the spirituals, the old spirituals, most of which are anonymous, written by anonymous slaves, faithful brothers and sisters whose names most of us will never know until we meet them when we meet the Lord. You know what I'm saying? But you listen to those, and it's clear that their experience was filtered through the lens of the Scripture, right? Especially the Israelites under Egyptian captivity. This is true. This is good. This shows practical application to biblical narrative and theology. Obviously, this does not mean they actually are Israelites, right? It does not mean that. But nonetheless, that's a good thing. I mean, they called Harriet Tubman Moses, right? I still got to see that movie, by the way. Half of African Americans, 49%, say MLK was a strong supporter of the Jewish people. Slightly fewer believe he was also a strong supporter of Israel, 42%. More than 2 in 5, 43%, say Jewish people in America were instrumental in the civil rights movement, while a quarter disagree. Actually, I've got a quote on the last thing they said there. Now, I know some of you guys, you know what I'm saying, this is kind of like not your area of interest. Okay, I get it. It is what it is. Others of you think this is fascinating and important. And I'm going to read this quote, this MLK quote here that I've got. Where did it go? Oh, where did this quote go? Okay. Yep. Here you go. He wrote a letter to the Rabbinical Assembly, and listen to this, what MLK said. Quote, "Peace for Israel means security, and we must stand with all our might to protect its right to exist, its territorial integrity. I see Israel as one of the great outposts of democracy in the world, and a marvelous example of what can be done, and how desert land can be transformed into an oasis of brotherhood and democracy. Peace for Israel means security, and that security must be a reality." All right. It's pretty good, I think. Now, notice there's nothing necessarily biblical as far as, some dispensationalist kind of view coming out or anything in MLK's quote there. It really has to do with stability of governments, and it's more of a political philosophy type of stance, which I think you can make a valid case for that, right? I mean, international and global politics are always complicated, right? But I think it's a good enough quote as it is. However, in 1967, MLK canceled a trip to Israel, and listen to what he said here. "I just think that if I go, the Arab world, and of course Africa and Asia for that matter, would interpret this as endorsing everything that Israel has done, and I do have questions of doubt." That's interesting. It's almost like MLK's attitude is very similar to the ambiguity and kind of back and forth between the community that we still see today. But those two quotes, just those little snippets, I think, are very, very telling. You know what I'm saying? Indeed. All right, now let's continue on looking at this. All right. Many African Americans say they think more positively about the nation of Israel because of the historic connections between the journey of their ethnicity and the journey of the Jews. Here's where the emotional touch point of Hebrew Israelism can come in, because this is valid enough as it is. This is a good point, I think, but it can turn into something else, and Hebrew Israelites are masters at playing upon that emotion. No, notice this is editorializing the data, but we're going to look at some of the actual data. Around a quarter say their opinion of Israel has been positively influenced due to the historic parallels between the enslavement of Jews in ancient Egypt and blacks in America. So it's 27%. It's a little bit higher than a quarter, but this is the actual data now, okay? So some of the influence of opinions among the black community in the United States is actually influenced by the parallels they see between them and enslaved Jews in Egypt, and due to the similarities between the two groups overcoming oppression. Jewish people in pursuing the Promised Land and African Americans pursuing civil rights, 26%. And in fact, if you know anything about black history in the United States, I don't claim to be the expert. I'm just saying it's a common knowledge. You see it frequently when you look at the issues that were happening throughout our nation's history. Booker T. Washington was a great admirer of the Jewish people. I don't know specifically about Israel, but specifically about Israel, he was a great admirer of Jews within the United States, and saw in some ways a model of what could be. He's not the only one. He's just a prominent, well-known example. Other civil rights leaders throughout the ages, they had mixed views. They kind of, on one sense, and you see this in the quotes. This is your quotes I've read as I looked into this. Whether it be W.E. Du Bois or whoever. There's a sense of admiration similar to Booker T's, but sometimes you also get a sense of envy or jealousy, especially because it's viewed as like, well, since a lot of these folks can kind of blend in with the white folks, it kind of makes it easier for them and stuff like that. There's interesting back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And the question is, do you see Jews as part of the problem for Black America or part of the solution for Black America? There's very interesting questions here, and again, it's very historically complicated. Now, look, as I try to talk about this, just give me a kind of some slack, because I'm discussing deep issues, and I may not say every word right. Now, the internet's an unforgiving place, but I'm just asking the folks who I especially care about, who are kind of core members of this, if you have a question, ask me. There's a lot to discuss with precision and care in a proper way, you know what I mean, when there's so many different things swirling around. All right, so continue on here. Here's the paragraph why this became very interesting to me. Most, 62%, say they are not familiar with the teachings of Black Hebrew Israelites. Yo, Lifeway Research is the first poll I've ever heard of. It's a survey. I'm going to get more in the methodology in a little bit. That has ever done this. Who asked people, are you, and the way they rate it, or they worded it like this, so I'm reading the wording they gave to the respondents. Are you familiar with the teachings of the Black Hebrew Israelites? The majority of Black Americans said no, 62%. A group that contends Black Americans are the physical descendants of the ancient Israelites. True enough. Few, 4%, consider themselves to be a Black Hebrew Israelite. This data is saying 4% of all Black Americans consider themselves to be a Black Hebrew Israelite. We're going to get more into that in a little bit, but that is fascinating. I'm going to actually read some more. Oh, man, should we? Let me just read this last section, okay? Well, I don't think I can read all this article. Do you guys want me to? Oh, is G-Con in the house? Hey, G-Con. Oh, G-Con. What's up, G-Con? What's up, G-Con, man? Where you at right now? Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you, G-Con. Growing anti-Semitism. More than a quarter of African Americans, 28%, say they are seeing more Black people they know express anti-Semitism in the past. And guess what? I'm going to tell you something right now. This sentence is almost absolutely connected to this sentence. Because on any understanding of actual anti-Semitism, as your sympathy with the false ideology of Hebrew Israelism grows, your legitimate, heartfelt, authentic dislike, you know what I mean? It grows. Meaning, the more Hebrew Israelite become, the more anti-Semitic you become. Now, I know what they're going to say. I already can, but you know what? Let them say what they're going to say. God bless you guys, but I don't really care what you say. I could literally predict every word you're going to say. Hey, shout out to my main man, Mr. Phil Fox. Kill it with the super chat. I owe 2 more freestyles now. I appreciate your comment of encouragement. We need that. I'm telling you, the work you do with BHI is super important. Thank you. I'm glad you see that. I'm glad you agree. I'm glad you're around. Seriously. Oh, G-Con's in El Paso. El Paso. Huh. Hey, can you guys get back on topic? You guys are like way off topic. Try to be a little more on topic, everybody. Now, I know that last thing I said is going to be controversial with some of you, but I think it's obvious. And everyone I've talked to who's looked at this data agrees and who understands kind of what's going on the ground. 3 in 10 African Americans, 30%, agree with the subtle anti-Semitic phrase, Jewish people have too much control of American finances. Around 1 in 5, 19%, believe Jewish people are blocking Black progress in the United States. So active hindrances. Remember the question I posed earlier? Help or a hindrance in the struggle for civil rights? When asked about a Louis Farrakhan quote claiming Jewish people have a tremendous influence in the U.S. government. And as a result, quote, Black people in this country will never be free until they are free of that kind of control. 41% of African Americans agree. So Farrakhan says something. They're saying 40% of Black Americans agree, basically. While they may be unrelated, it is worth noting that at the same time, the contributions of Jewish people in the civil rights movement have passed beyond the memory of the majority of African Americans. Some are also seeing a rise in anti-Semitism. What is going on with this? Hold on, I need to fix this, man. This thing is tripping out. This is way too noisy. Who is like? It's on mute, so why is it still making noise? You guys are like... People always like to hit you up when you go live, and even when you got everything muted, and then wants to act like you don't have everything muted. You know, it's crazy. I just got to turn this off real quick, because I want it to stop doing that. I don't know why it's doing it. Mute. It's better be muted now. All right. Oh, Kimberly York. Listen to wrong person. Put the wrong comment on the screen here. Kimberly York. Let's see here. All right, Kimberly York. I'm trying to put your comment on the screen here. Oh, there it is on the screen. Okay. Kimberly York claims that the data shows the more educated blacks are, the more anti-Jewish they are. You know, I don't know if that's true or not. I could see possibly why that would be, for example. I'd be curious to know, does the data just show that in general about all Americans, meaning the more, college educated, for example, they are, the more they are that way. I wonder. I don't know the answer to that. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean by anti-Semitic? Nowadays, it is so weaponized to not mean anything, vocab. Similar to what you would say if you mean someone's prejudiced, or bigoted towards a certain people group. You know what I'm saying? Similar, except in regards to people who people understand to be Jewish. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Yeah, it is an interesting survey, isn't it? He brought up Calvinism in his next to last video. Okay. Hello, Miss Titus 2. What you doing? Is that your first super chat you've ever sent, Miss Titus 2? I wonder if it is. If it is, congratulations on your first super chat. Now maybe you've done it for somebody else. I don't know. But if as Megatron as in the Transformers movie, Unicron said to Megatron, "It pleases me to be the first." All right. Yeah, thanks again. Really, is my book available for free on Prime if you have it, Mr. Phil Fox? I didn't even know that. The Kindle version? Huh, I didn't even know that. Okay, so you know what we're going to do now? I'm going to show you one other place where this popped out. It's in the Baptist Press. It's like a Southern Baptist, type of, little kind of online news source. Man, this is acting weird. This thing's acting a little bit weird, but okay. They put one thing that I thought was fascinating. Look at this. Editor's note. Lifeway Research in 2017 studied American evangelicals and Hispanics' perceptions of Israel. Now, I've downloaded the American Evangelicals report, but I had not downloaded the one about how Hispanics view Israel. That's fascinating. After this, I think I'd like to download it. Let me see if they have the report here. I haven't looked through this one, but that's pretty fascinating. Yep, it looks. Oh, that's downloading the story. That's not downloading. I'm going to look for that. So you can see that they're interested in these questions in general, right? Is what they're trying to do. You know what I mean? I knew that this is going to be a thing. Sar Sahar, thanks, vocab, for showing we're growing. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh man, you guys are cracking me up. But again, thank you, Miss Titus, too. Miss Kimberly York, I see you're bringing up the Farrakhan series of books, which I do not agree with Amazon's decision to not allow it to be sold anymore. I don't think that was cool. However, those books, I know what you're talking about. You say that they expose how much the Jews got rich on slavery and they use the data from Jewish sources. That book is garbage. There's a small book that I think pretty handily destroys a lot of the misinformation in it. It's not that there's nothing true in that book, but there's a lot of lies and exaggeration. I just don't, to me, I can't trust the Nation of Islam with any facts or data. And this little book, I forget what it's called, but I have it on my shelf right over there. I'm looking at it right there. I could grab it later on or something like that. But that little book, I think, does a good job of just showing the major problems with it. But I know the books you're talking about, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so let's go over here now and let's take a look at the actual data. You guys ready? This is kind of a deep dive, okay? This is a deep dive. Not everybody's for this. Not everybody's about that. I get it. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. And so let's check this out here. What's up, Connor? How you doing, man? Shout out to our favorite actor. What up? What up? What up? What up? Oh, really? Wow, Mr. Phil Fox just picked up the IUIC starter kit. Wow. Wow, you guys are just all over the map. Everybody seems really mad at me tonight. That's what it looks like. I'm just joking. Some Hebrew Israelites gonna be like, yeah, look, vocab's losing his, Anyways, speaking of that, we got almost 80 people watching tonight. Okay, so it's time to bring up the actual data. This is fascinating, right here. Okay, I've got everything ready. Look at me being a good boy, doing the internet thing. You know what I mean? Okay. Look, all right. Okay. Now, why did it mess with my dimensions again? I've got to fix these dimensions real quick, everybody. You'll see what I'm saying here in a second here. I need to, man, I don't like that it's doing that. I'm gonna fix the dimensions so the picture shape works better with what we're looking at on the screen. So what I do is make it like that. You see what I'm doing here? You guys can kind of see what I'm doing. And I need to probably adjust that because of it. Ooh, the background looks cool, don't it? I mean, it does to me anyway. Let's make it just all the way. So it's like a tall, narrow window, you know what I mean? And that way it's over here on the side. And let's get this started. Let's take a look at it. All right. Okay. All right, so what do we have here? We have a survey of a little bit over 10,000 black Americans. That's the sample size. Now, obviously, whenever the sample size is bigger, you know what I mean, it's better. But this is not bad at all. This is not a bad sample size. So let's take a look at some of what they've got here, okay? So first, a bit on the methodology. I know that a tad bit is cut off there, but you can read most of what's on your screen. Online survey conducted March 22nd to April 2nd. Sponsored by the Philos Project. So they're laying their cards on the table, you know. Respondents were invited to participate from a large national panel. Respondents were screened to only include self-identified black or African Americans who were born in the U.S. Maximum quotas and slight weights were used for gender, region, age, education, and religious groups to more accurately reflect the African American population using statistics published by Pew Research and the Census Bureau. Now, the numbers I see for black Americans in the United States fluctuate from 36 million to 43 million. I would be curious to see what you guys have with the sources you go to for the actual number of black Americans in the United States of America. Everybody quotes 12 to 13%. We understand that. Now, it's number if you include the so-called biracial category. Not a fan of that terminology. But if you include it, it does go up, of course, right? But being that as it is, what's the actual number you guys see? I'd be curious to see what you got there, all right? So here we go. Let's see. The sample provides a 95% confidence that the sampling error does not exceed 3.6. So the error for margin is almost 4%, right? Margins of error are higher in subgroups. So, for example, saying a subgroup would be black women, black seniors. You see what I'm saying? There'd be some difference there, they're saying. I think that's clear. All right, now let's take a look here. So let's look at these responses. So where do black Americans get their news from? 81% television, 48% social media, 46% websites, 37% radio, 29% print magazines, newspapers, 27% news apps, none of these 3%. Oh, look, right here on the screen, it says Hebrew Israelites. Where do they get their news from? And it says 100% YouTube. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. Someone's going to get so mad. Which networks? This is not all that important to me, but there you go. Get the idea. So this is the news sources, right? The people have, right? So I'm just going to let you see these. I'm not going to comment on every single slide here. I'm just going to show you these, because this data is fascinating. We talked about this already. And that. Oh, they didn't talk about that. And that's interesting. Yeah, the U.S. does way too much to try to solve the world's problems and usually makes them worse. That's our specialty. Some of you guys aren't going to be happy about that. It's like, who was it? Winston Churchill, I think, said, you can always count on the Americans to do the right thing after they've tried everything else. Can't take yourself too seriously, folks. Now, this is interesting. Look, this is actually dangerous, in my opinion, man, for all of us. 46%, the main influencer about opinions about Israel, media. 24% of the Bible. That is fascinating. That 24%, the Bible, like, so the media is way high, and then right underneath that is the Bible. But below that is friends and family, positions of elected officials. Local church, 8%. National Christian leaders, 7%. Personal experience with Jews. Personal experience with Muslims. Teachers or professors, not sure. This is interesting, man. Good, I'm glad you laughing, Jude-Line. I'm glad you got a, kind of like good sense of humor. That's good, Jude-Line. That means we can kick it for sure. Just looking through these, you guys can see what I'm seeing. I could be playing music right now or something like this. But we're not going to look at all these. You know the part I'm really trying to get to. Okay, this is one of the parts I want to stop and focus on, okay? Which, if any, of the following have positively influenced your opinions about the country of Israel today? So, this is online. Over 1,000 folks answered. And check this out. Kimberly York says, vocab, sometimes black folks are reluctant to be totally honest in polls. That is always a factor in polls. And yes, it's probably higher among certain communities. For example, there's certain ways that Hispanics will not answer, sometimes because of fears of a government reprisal. That is true. There's another inaccuracy that comes a lot of times related to polls on religion, which this one gets into a little bit, is what's called the halo effect, where people self-report higher church attendance than they actually have. They report more piety in their life than is actually true. It's called the halo effect. But pollsters know this stuff and try to deal with it. But I think you make a good point. So, the thing is, it takes a lot for a poll to be worthless or meaningless, meaning it has to be totally crap in how they did it. There has to be so many methodological problems for it to mean nothing. I know Lifeway Research is really trying to get to the real issues of this because the people involved actually care about this. They're trying their best to get a real sense of the lay of the land here. And I think this sounds about right. This issue, I think anecdotally this even sounds right. Also, but I think this is almost obvious in a way. Look at this. The historic parallels between enslavement of Jews in ancient Egypt and blacks in America. 27% of black Americans say that historic parallel influences their view of Israel today. And there's a similarity with this one. Historic parallels of overcoming oppression between Jewish people pursuing the Promised Land and African Americans pursuing civil rights. So you add these two numbers together, and it's like half based upon historic parallel of some sort. You guys see that? Now look at this, though. The rest of this is theological as well. Israel is the land God promised Abraham's descendants. God promised blessing to those who stand by Abraham and his offspring. That is literally 70% people basically are quoting Genesis 12:3. You know what I mean? The initial Abrahamic covenant as part of their reason. Isn't that fascinating? Absolutely fascinating. God promised blessings. Scripture says God is near the brokenhearted and the needy. The formation state in Israel in 1948 and regathering of millions of Jewish people to Israel with the fulfillment of prophecy regarding the nearing of Jesus' second coming, 14%. So not a lot of dispensational tendencies there. But I think that slide is important. Don't you? Look at this. Which one of the following has positively influenced your opinions about the country of Israel the most? So these have to do with positive. Notice it's still the highest category on here is none of these and not sure. 22% say not sure. That's actually the highest number on here. again, which is the title of the headline, was pretty accurate. It says a lot of folks have none or mixed opinions. This is true, all right? This is fascinating too. This is fascinating too. Fascinating too. I feel like Spock. Fascinating. You guys remember how Spock in the original series do that, man? Now, let me show you something I got right here. I recently purchased this super large book by a Hebrew Israelite. This thing is 500 pages on the nose. I'm going to read the back of this book. It's a Hebrew Israelite book. There you will find... what is this? Well, the back of the book's not even, like, helpful. Although the book is laid out pretty decently, actually, compared to a lot of Hebrew Israelite books I've read. And I'm just saying that really as a matter of fact. Well, okay, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but it's a fascinating book which really attacks Jews and a lot of it, in my understanding. Dr. Beniah Yasharel. I bet a lot of Hebrew Israelites are going to get this book now that I'm showing it to them. It's a pretty new book called Esau, Edom, Rome, The Hidden Identity of the Man of Sin. Dr. Beniah Yasharel. Now it has a larger focus, obviously, but you have other books that are more focused by Hebrew Israelites. This is the one I always tell people about, The Jewish Masquerade by John Brinson. This one, I mean, look at the cover art. I think it's designed to be offensive. The relationship between modern Jews and ancient Hebrew Israelites. You know what I'm saying? This one is like really, I mean, let me just read the back of this, right? It is clear that most, if not all, modern-day Jews are not ancestrally or genetically linked to the house of Judah, and therefore they have no right to be called Israelites in any sense of the word. You know, Hebrew Israelites get mad about you questioning their identity. They have no problem questioning other people's identity, huh? You notice? You notice that? Turnabout's fair play, homie. Today's Jews are neither Judahites nor Israelites. They are quite literally masquerading imposters! ! Yeshua promises to expose them and bring them down and have them acknowledge the true Hebrew Israelites. I, Yahushua, will cause those Jews of the synagogue of Satan. So he quotes Revelation 3:9, right? And Revelation 2:9. And, you get that kind of sentiment among the Hebrew Israelites. So my point is, you look at this slide, man, you know if it was the Hebrew Israelite thing, especially if you hear Rakah from GOCC talk, when he be quoting Illuminati 1 and 2, man, he's all about this life, right? He's all about this life. Anyways, continuing on here. Oh, that's interesting, right? Hmm. 41% agree that the formation of modern Israel is a fulfillment of God's covenant with the Jewish people. Now that's interesting because that almost contradicts some of the earlier data. But again, notice 41% agree. Yet look down here, everybody. 38% are not sure. I know it's cut off a little bit, but this says over here. This says 38% not sure. This is crazy. This shows. I think this is accurate because this shows the level of flux. You know what I mean? That is representative of what's really happening. 41%, Israel, fulfillment of God's covenant with Jewish people. 38%, not sure. It's literally like 40-40 right there in the black community with this issue. You guys see that? Judah the Lion. Oh, you're part of GOCC? I didn't know that. I never actually knew who you rolled with. Well, okay, I'll try not to say too much about Rakah then. I'm crossing my fingers behind my back. I'm just kidding. Oh, shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. I didn't know that. Hey, he be coming after. He be coming hard after anybody he perceives to be, what he calls a so-called Jew. He goes hard after him. 28% say, yep, seeing more anti-Semitism than in the past. 62% of black Americans agree that God's promise of the land of Israel to Abraham and his descendants was for all time. Hebrew Israelites are going to love this because they say, yeah, that's right. A majority of our people know that. And guess what? They don't know it's us. We're going to be ruling that land, not those cracker Amalekite Khazar converts over there. The Hebrew Israelites are going to get excited like, man, vocab's preaching, because they agree with what I just said. You know what I'm saying? 40% agree with Farrakhan. Man, oh man, oh man. It's funny, Farrakhan is the leader that gets mentioned. I think when he passes on, I pray he would get saved before he leaves this earth. You're going to see Hebrew Israelite leaders take his place, basically. I don't know if they're going to get as popular and as big, because there's too many of them that's not centralized. The NOI is a different structure. You know what I mean? But I think that's what you're going to see. NOI is going to go out with Farrakhan as far as being the massive force it has been in the 20th century. I really think that's true. These are predictions and speculations, but I think we got to think about this stuff in urban apologetics. You know what I mean? Continuing on here. So I'd love to hear you guys' opinions. You know what I mean? In here. Like, I would love to see what you guys think as well. If I find an interesting comment in here, whether I agree or disagree, I'll try to put it on the screen if I catch it. Let me just talk to you guys real quick. To everyone in the audience, you may say, I'm not part of VOCAB's audience. If you're listening, okay? If you're listening right now in any way, disagreeing is fine. It's best when you do it articulate and not crazy rude. It makes it better. It's. What are you doing, Justice? What are you doing, huh? Sorry, my dog. Go on up there. Go on up. Go on the couch. Go. There you go. Go. Good boy. There you go. Mr. Scruffle's chilling in the background. He's funny, man. He be pulling pillows around. He like makes a bed how he wants it. Anyways, I got really distracted by a dog in the background. News anchors don't do that. Dang it! What was I saying? My point is, I'm okay with that. So you notice like Kimberly York, will say stuff, and I don't mind reading her comments. I don't make fun of her, like go crazy, like we don't always agree, I'll put stuff on the screen, and you could disagree. We could disagree. That's the kind of place this is. Doesn't mean I'm always gonna, put everything on there. I'm just saying. Now look at this. BLM accuses Israel of genocide and apartheid against the Palestinian people, calls on people to boycott, divest from, and sanction the country of Israel. So they're asking questions related to this. Were you aware the BLM platform includes these positions on Israel? Most people were not aware. I wasn't aware until the survey. 30%. They were, yeah. So 30% were, 70% were not. Oh, here it is. This is interesting. The place that they have this question is interesting, because look, it says introduction to the following 3 questions, and then there's this 4th question kind of just hanging there in a way. You know what I mean? Like, I think it definitely relates to this. And my friend who's in contact with these folks, he said he knows the guy who's responsible for making sure a question about Hebrew Israelites was included on there. I guess he's pretty aware of what's going on. And so, Kim, now we're going to come to the place and the spot where I'm going to show you why I labeled the show 1 Million Hebrew Israelites. Okay, so just hold up, guys. Darna, just because your comment doesn't appear doesn't mean I delete it. YouTube holds comments, and I have to go check them in the stupid folder to clear them, and it's really irritating because there's like 500 in there. And also, mods sometimes delete comments. I rarely go delete comments like that. All right, so check this out. Here's where it comes, everybody, and I'm going to show you why this show's called what it is. 62% of black Americans are not familiar with black Hebrew Israelite teachings. Now, this is what they labeled it as. This was on the survey, okay? This is kind of the familiar name people know, okay? So this is their verbiage, not mine. Okay, going over here to the right side first. So this is the way the question was asked. So you had 5 answers. So imagine if you answered this survey, how would you answer? I am not familiar with black Hebrew Israelite teachings. a majority of black Americans say they are not familiar with black Hebrew Israelite teachings. Do you guys all see that? 62% is the majority. But the story's not done yet. 6% say they firmly oppose the teaching of the black Hebrew Israelites. So what that means is, out of the other percent, 48% who are familiar with Hebrew Israelite teachings, 6% of black Americans say they firmly oppose them. This would be like the folks in the so-called woke church. This would be people who rock with my channel. This would be, brothers and sisters in Shield Squad. That's the kind of person answering that. This would be the brothers and sisters writing books out there on the topic and doing the blogs, and the podcast, because there's a lot popping off, Just because people see one person doesn't mean there's not a lot of people doing the work in the underground. So 6%, though, that means that's really a small percentage, though. That number needs to be super, super high, and it's super, super low. 9%. I disagree with most of the core ideas taught by black Hebrew Israelites. That's interesting. Now, they don't define the core ideas in the survey. This is not an exhaustive survey on Hebrew Israelites. Everyone understands that. This survey, this data, was focused to find out black Americans' opinions on the nation of Israel. You guys understand that? Hey. Abu. Look what he said. Oh, man, Abu be cracking me up, man. Look what he says. Someone is bound to point to this chart and declare, that's the 2/3 right there. You're exactly right, bro. That is what they're going to do. Someone is going to do that. Oh, man, that's pretty funny. You guys see that? You guys know that's funny, right? That's funny. Who is blasted, John Epling? Most of your comments, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who blasted is. I don't know what you're talking about. You're bringing up a bunch of stuff. I just have no idea what you're talking about. I'm so sorry. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. You gotta explain yourself better. But really, you're off topic, so I'm probably not really gonna answer you, because who knows what you're saying. I'm so sorry. I just don't. So 9% disagree with most of the core ideas taught by black Hebrew Israelites, right? So you add these two together, right? 9 and 6. That's 15%. So 15% of black Americans who are familiar. So this is not 50% of all black Americans. This is 15% out of 48%. Understand that? So 15% of black Americans disagree with most of the ideas taught by Hebrew Israelites. Disagree with some or all, or most or all. That's the best way I should say it. 50% of black Americans disagree with most or all of the teachings of Hebrew Israelites, okay? And so that's good. It's better than nothing. But look at this. 19%. Now, this is the thing we're going to focus on, this 4% over here. But really, this number may even be a bigger number. You see what I'm saying? 19%. Yeah, Kimberly York, you're right. That means 38% are aware. That's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Check this out. 19%. That's almost 20%. All right? Agree with most of the core ideas taught by black Hebrew Israelites. Wow. Now, with that being said, John Epling, I'm just going to take a brief detour, and I'm going to stop addressing you. You're upset because I let people criticize Catholics. He's the one you deleted because you blew you apart. You're starting to become irritating because I don't know who you're talking about or what you're talking about. I didn't delete them, so stop saying I did, okay? I don't delete people if they quote blasphemy apart. That's not how I roll, right? It's for other things. I already told you that. Yes, I let people criticize Roman Catholics. I criticize Roman Catholics. Not every single Roman Catholic. Really, what I criticize is Roman Catholicism. But if you notice, I've defended Roman Catholics against unfair criticism as well. Now, some Catholics may say any criticism is unfair, especially by Protestants or whatever, especially with Reformed variety. But I don't let all these conspiracies happen. Like, I had people coming on here, Catholics started the Islamic religion. I was like, what? Nah, bro, you crazy. Okay, you know what? Just someone time out John You are super irritating. First of all, you don't have an avatar. Second of all, you're You're lying about me. So it's irritating, and you're way off topic, and now you're getting me off topic. Please stop ruining a good show. 19%. Yeah. Abu says, I didn't know vocab was required to censor criticism of Catholicism. Neither did I. Sorry, John. You got a lot more places you need to go to. It's funny that Hebrew Israelites say I never criticized Roman Catholicism, and then John Epling, super sensitive John Epling, so sensitive right now. He comes on here and says, you let people criticize Roman Catholics. Yo, are they really? Crystal Charday says, Sakari is live talking about vocab. Are they really? Can Sakari, why are they always, gosh. Hey, there's David Wood. Always coming on to diss me, but I'll see you pretty soon. David Wood, a.k.a. Act 17 Apologetics. Hey, I just want to tell everybody, David Wood is a liar. Freaking liar. He told me last week he was going to put out a show with a Boom Boom Room where Muhammad meets R. Kelly. Totally didn't do it. Then this week, he says, I got the episode we did where Muhammad meets a Klansman done. Because we did one where Muhammad meets a Klansman. It's still going to be totally controversial, just like the R. Kelly one. But hey, what's up? Neither one have came out, David Wood. Neither one. So you're just a liar, man. Nobody can trust David Wood. Even his wife shouldn't trust him. That's how much of a liar he is. He has not put out the show. He said he was going to. He always does this to me. I can't trust David Wood anymore. I have stopped trusting you, David Wood, because you always let me down. And that's all I got to say. And if Tahar doesn't like it because I'm making fun of you, that's too bad. The reason I say that is, guys, last time I made fun of David Wood on here, Tahar got upset. He was like, what? Why are you premiering it during my show, bro? Look at this. Oh, Muhammad Meets a Klansman premieres in 46 minutes. Okay, so we have got to stop the show before 46 minutes, everyone. What we're going to do is, David, can you drop the link in the live chat? In all seriousness, but Tahar of GMS got upset when I was making fun of David Wood. That's how down he is for David Wood. David is a total manipulative dude, even when he doesn't intend to do, right? You know what I'm saying? And now Tahar is defending David Wood against when I make fun of him. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. He's like, vocab made me upset when he called David Wood a doofus. First of all, he doesn't hear all the stuff David Wood says about me. Second of all, he doesn't understand we're kidding. It's just so funny. All right, thanks. Yeah, Tahar respects the beatbox. You guys are getting me way off. We are talking a serious thing. Kimberly is totally right that I was getting somewhere with this analysis, and now you guys are totally screwing me up. Back to the issues at hand, okay? Oh my gosh, someone put Darna on timeout. I think it's a double account. I think Darna is the same person as John Epling. Put them on timeout. Oh my gosh. Put them on timeout. Just, when you're egregiously off topic, you're allowed to be timed out. The only one who we let get away with that is Mr. Rambo 7. All right. Back to this. 19% of black Americans say they agree with most core ideas taught by black Hebrew Israelites. Now, the poll does not define it. However, stop here. We got to get back and put our own thinking caps and think about this. I'm glad the survey doesn't define it. Now, I hope there's later surveys that come later on that do define the so-called core ideas taught by the black Hebrew Israelites. I'm reading the verbiage of the polling data, okay? So check this out. I want future polls to do this. However, for this poll, it's fine they didn't do it. And here's why. Okay? Here's why. Okay? Why is Sakari going live on me right now? They've gotten live on me like a lot lately. They talk about obsessed. About to play that Mariah Carey song that she made for Eminem to those guys. Why are you so obsessed with me? Right? All right. So, here's what's interesting. This means each respondent is defining the terms in their own head. So they're thinking, what are the core ideas of the Hebrew Israelites? What are the core things Hebrew Israelites teach as they answer to this survey? As they think that, they think, most of what I've heard Hebrew Israelites say, I agree with. 20% people, however they defined core ideas taught by Black Hebrew Israelites. And again, I'm reading the verbiage of the poll. However they thought of it in their own head, they thought this is 20%. And I think I might have messed up. I might have said 20% of Black Americans. Remember, this is 20% of the 38%. I need to keep on saying that because I'm getting confused myself. Remember, 62% of Black Americans have never heard Hebrew Israelite teachings. The thing is on the screen right now, so it kind of self-corrects me if I mess up. That means we are working with 38% left. Okay, and I'm going to break down these numbers to show you why this is utterly fascinating. So right now, the main thing under discussion is this 19% figure. Okay, that's where we're looking. Okay, see right here. That's what we're looking at. Okay. Boom. That's what we're looking at. I agree with most of the core ideas taught by Black Hebrew Israelites. So however they defined them in their head, they said, I agree. Almost 20% of the 38%. Okay? You could do the math on those numbers, and that would be a big, big, big number, wouldn't it? Yes, it would. A massively big number. Okay? Now check this out. 4% of the 38% of Black Americans who have heard about Hebrew Israelite teachings say they consider themselves a Black Hebrew Israelite. Oh, wait. No, that would really be... I wonder if it's... Well, this is really saying 4% of all Black Americans. Yeah. Man, I'm maybe messing up. I'm looking at some of this. Let me just stop here for a second. This is where I actually need your guys' help in the live chat. Yeah, so Kimberly York makes... Thanks, Abu, for messing me up with your nonsense. Okay, Kimberly York makes a good point. And Kim, just so you know, Kim, I do not disagree with you. Sorry, natural habit, right? That 19%, Kim is right. That is very significant. Judah Lion says, vocab, you're taking a poll on what Black people think instead of the prophecies that defines us. Judah, I didn't create this poll. I'm reading Lifeway Research's findings. I think this is important to look at that, okay? I think that's important. Everett Scott, you're going to get timed out unless you have something good to say. Just be cool, man. Just be cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. Lovely Manta Ray, too. I appreciate that. She is right, and I think we all need to pay attention to this. This is a major wake-up call. 19% of Black Americans agree with the core ideas taught by Black Hebrew Israelites. Or unless it's 19% of the 38%. You see what I'm saying? But actually, it must just be 19% of Black Americans, because when you add this all together, you see it equals the 100. 9 plus 6 is 15. 15 plus 9, 15 plus 4 is 19. 19 plus 19 is 38. And then you have the 62. So that is 19% of Black Americans. 19% of Black Americans agree with most of the core ideas taught by Hebrew Israelites. Now, I don't think they're all familiar with them. That's why I try to actually spend a lot of my time explaining what a lot of Hebrew Israelites think. You see what I'm saying? That's what I try to do. Now, but here's what I want to show you, okay? Sorry, getting a little bit distracted here, right? Check this out. Well, Jose Daniel, I see your comment. That's an easy analysis to make, and I understand what you're saying, but here's the thing, Jose. You don't know how the respondent is defining the core ideas taught by Black Hebrew Israelites. Everyone needs to understand that. You see what I'm saying? You don't know how the respondent understands Hebrew Israelism. So I would contend most people aren't familiar with the deeper doctrine. They have a general idea, right? And whatever they say about this general idea in their mind affects what they answer. So you don't know what they think Hebrew Israelite core teaching is. You see what I'm saying? But whatever they think it is, 19% agree. Now check this out. I think this shows the Hebrew Israelites do not have as much of an image problem with Black America as a lot of people think they do. Yeah, that's right. That's what I think this means. A lot of people were like, who's going to listen to guys out there on the street corner? You know what? I just think, I hear you on that, but I don't think you understand the culture. Oh, you understand the culture and I don't? Well, to an extent, yeah. Yeah, maybe so. Okay, what? And I've talked about this before, like when I did the allure of Hebrew Israelism. I did an old video where I called this. The video was titled "The Subtle Genius of IUIC." I've talked about this in various places, right? I don't think you know really. You have to understand what's going on when you walk out in the street and hear common people's opinions. Those who are getting off the bus, those who are getting off the light rail, your Uber driver, like, you know what I mean? Not just like the BLM people on a stage or some conference or something. Like, I think it's when you kind of understand the lay of the land a little bit better. I think you're not as shocked by this 19% number. Now, it's a little higher than I would have thought. I will grant that. 19% of black Americans agree with Hebrew Israelite teachings. But here's the point. Yo, this means the image problem is not as bad as a lot of us think. Now, I think the image problem should be bad because I think, this is all due respect to the Hebrew Israelites in the chat, okay? All due respect to you. And yeah, I look forward to your numbers, Kim. But I think the essence of Hebrew Israelism is bad, okay? For the most part, it's a problem. It's whack, I think. And, we got a disagreement. Okay, I understand. So I want it to be lower, right? As far as who agrees. But the image problem is not as bad as you guys, a lot of times, I think, probably think it is. No, Everett, you're saying the Most High works in small numbers, bro. You're totally misunderstanding what I'm saying, Everett Scott. Everett Scott, listen to me carefully. These are not small numbers, Everett Scott. There's way more black Americans who either consider themselves Hebrew Israelites or agree with their teachings than I think anyone realized up until this point. If these numbers are even close to being right, which they're saying is a 4% margin of error, I do tend to think this is about right, these numbers. I think when you break it down, you realize there's some legitimacy to these numbers. Everett, you're misunderstanding. I don't think these are small numbers. They may look like small numbers, but I'm going to show you something here in a second with some basic math I did, and you guys are going to go, whoa, these are not very small numbers. Let me break it down. 23%, when you add it together, do you guys see this? 19 plus 4 is 23. 23% of black Americans either agree with most or all of Hebrew Israelism. That's almost a quarter of black Americans. That's a big deal. Let me show you something else you may have not considered yet. So 62% have never heard, right? But of those who have heard, 15 disagree. Only 15. The number of those who agree is higher than those who don't. Now watch this. That means 38% have heard of Hebrew Israelite teaching. That's this group over here. It comprises 38% of black Americans. Guess what? 19 plus 4 is 23. Let me just show you this. If you added 23 together, so just doubled it, 23 plus 23, you'd have 46. Why did I bring up that number? Right? Here's why I bring up that number. Because you have 38% left who have heard of it. That means more than half of people who get exposed to Hebrew Israelism end up agreeing with it. Do you understand that? Look, I'm trying to break this down. I'm not very good at explaining this properly. 38% of black Americans have heard about Hebrew Israelites. 23 rock with it in some way. That means more than half of people who are exposed to it rock with it. Because if you divided 38 in half, it'd be like 17. It'd be like, what is it, 19, I think? 19%? This is more than half. You see what I'm saying? 23% agree. I hope you guys understand that. Folks are not properly have been inoculated against the bad teaching of Hebrew Israelism. Christian Apologist, part of our job is to properly inoculate people against the bad teaching of Hebrew Israelism. Right now, we're not doing a very good job. I know Hebrew Israelites are going to take these clips. I know how they are. VOCAB Malone admits, you know what? I just believe in truth. Now, he's a liar. He's scared. He can't sleep at night. These guys are drama queens. You know what I mean? But here's the deal. This is alarming. If you think my channel is a waste of time or the apologetic ministry I do, I'm sorry, I get it. Or you don't want to deal with it, I'm sorry, I get it. It's all good. Whatever, right? But if you Look at this and understand it's done by Lifeway Research, a conservative, evangelical, Protestant organization who's interested in data collection in regards to this question. They're not trying to puff up the numbers, right? It's fascinating they even had this question on here, right? This is utterly fascinating and should be a big wake-up call. Reason Uncensored, brother, I think I just answered the question. Why do you still make videos about these groups? Because look at the numbers on your screen. 23% of black Americans agree with most or all of Hebrew Israelism. That's almost a quarter. That's why I still make these videos. Hey, yo, Connor Terrell, thank you for the super chat. It's scary how much of a foothold this is taking. This is why we need apologists like you doing fine work. Thank you, brother. This is funny, and thank you, Mr. Phil Fox. Notice how some people get it. They see it, the data, and they're like, whoa, this is not just anecdotal. They kind of get it. They understand, right? There you go. There's the narrative. Low-key vocab, you scared because you know the Most High with the black Hebrews. No. Hey, you know what? I'm not going to say what I think on that, but let me just say that's not at all what's up. Man. Hold up. Let me... John, go ahead and unsubscribe. I don't care if you unsubscribe. Seriously. You can't threaten me with that. That makes people just block you, to be honest. Yeah, Reason Uncensored. Hey, I can't wait either to see the new Boom Boom Room. It comes out in about 30 minutes, my friend. Yep, that's right. Okay, so Mr. Phil Fox is doing what I wanted to do earlier. He says 41 million. He says, now I'm going to do something on the screen, okay? Now, the numbers I had were slightly higher, but let's do this together, okay? Everyone, pull out our phones. Pulling out our phones right now, okay? Pulling out our phones, going to the calculator, okay? We put 42 million. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a lot of zeros. Okay, see? 42 million. This is according to... oh, you said 41 million. Sorry, the numbers I had said 41 million. I'll use your numbers, though. 41 million black Americans in the United States, according to some census data. Okay, the thing is, the problem is that's from probably 2010, right? Okay. Now, times 0.04. This is how we get a percentage. So what I just did is I put times 0.04 and look at the number. 1.6 million. That's how many people consider themselves Hebrew Israelites. I just did the 4% number. Let me show you this again. I had multiple people check this, and we rocked this together. We're going with a low number. If you do a higher number, it's worse. 41 million, okay? Now watch. Multiply. Hold on, I'm trying to get this on the screen. Multiply. Did it hit it? Yep, it hit it. Okay. Point. Oh, man, I can't. Oh, hold up. 0.04. Okay, see that? Okay, I think I got it all right here. I'm trying to show you guys. Oh, see, I messed up on it. I'm trying to show you the work. I already did it. It's hard to show you. I could just bring up my calendar or calculator on there. But just know that when I put 42 followed by 6 zeros and then times 0.04, you guys do this math with me. Do this math with me. I don't think that was 40 EO. Yeah, it wasn't. Chicago cut you. All right, Marlon Kander. You're Marlon Kander. Timeout, Marlon Kander. You're gonna come on here calling that name the G-Con. If I ever catch you anything like that again, talking about my friends in that way, you're gone forever. You're lucky. I'm just gonna time you out for now. Mods, timeout, Marlon Calendar. Do not talk about them that way. You're not going to call G-Con and Sister Cherry those names. I don't even hardly care what you call me, to be honest, but you're not going to call them those names. At least not if I can control it. You know what I'm saying? For real. Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that, Bashir. Says this is coming from Hebrews Like Christian. I appreciate your videos. Now, Abu, you made 2 comments that I wanted to put on the screen. I kind of lost track of them. Where were your comments, brother? We might also need to keep in mind that the focus on one Westers may skew our perception. Agreement with Israelites in an abstract sense need not entail agreement with one Westers. True. I hope you guys understand what I just read. He said, all jokes aside, in theory, even the 4% includes people like the woman who got in the lion pen at the Bronx Zoo. Yes, you are true. You're correct. Okay. So when we put in 41 million, we times it to get the 4%. There's the number, okay? Nate, can you do this too? Everybody do this as well, please. All right. No. Everett Scott, there's not 41 million black Hebrews. You're misunderstanding what's happening here, Everett Scott. There's 41 million black Americans in the United States, and that's a low number. The data I saw was closer to 43 million. But we're going to go with 41 million here because I did see different ones, right? Yisrael family, the data is collected through an online survey. We already went over the methodology. Later, we'll have to do that again later if you want. No, Nate, you be liking numbers. You always give us the numbers. You keep track of everything. But yeah, because you're a Moabite. That's pretty much right. That's right, brother. All right, so check this out. That is the number of people who call themselves Hebrew Israelites in the United States of America. Do you understand that? You guys understand that? That's 4% of 41. Wait, what? What are you saying? What comes out to 3 million? What comes out to 3 million? The 19%? Kimberly York, are you talking about the 19%, what it comes out to? I'm not sure what number you're referring to. But check this out. This is why the show is called 1 Million Hebrew Israelites. 1 Million Hebrew Israelites. That's why it's called that. Okay? Because that's what we're dealing with here. Okay? Why are you saying Act 17? Act 17 is not live. Why are you saying that? He's not live yet. Yet the premiere hasn't started. It's in 26 minutes. It's going to be insane. Hey, guys, go over in that live chat to David Woods and tell him to get the rest of the show. Look at this. This is going to be insane. It's Muhammad Meets a Klansman. This one's going to get taken down. You already know it. I mean, look at this. Oh, my goodness. Someone's going to screenshot that. Can't trust these fools. All right, so, okay, yeah. Everyone look at Kimberly's numbers. I'm going to put your on the screen, too, there as well. So, again, here's the point. Here's the point we're going with, all right? Here's the point. If you add up how many black Americans agree with Hebrew Israelism, with how many subscribe to actually being a Hebrew Israelite, these are massive, massive numbers. Way more, right, than the Nation of Islam sympathizers. You know what I mean? A lot more, okay? John Epling, Act 17 is not on right now. He's going on in 25 minutes. Like, go over there and you'll see he's not on yet. God. Super frustrating. I don't understand why you... It's very obvious. Please do go over there, though. That'd be excellent. But just, guys, know, David's not going live with the premiere until 25 minutes. Okay? But that's cool. Stop telling you're going to go. Just someone time out John Epling. He's super distracting and wrong about everything. Just time him out again. Just get your facts together, man. He's just being contrarian for no reason. But no, I'm gonna end the show before that so we can all go over there and watch it together. I'm just telling guys, go in the live chat over at Act 17 Apologetics, drop the link and tell them to come on over here real quick for the end of our show. Because we'll probably do another freestyle and all that stuff like that. So these are really big numbers. Now I'm gonna go look at some other numbers here. I've had this on the screen for a while now. I may go back to this. I'm just gonna kind of go back through this real quick. 31% of black Americans say they go to church once a month. Man, you know that stat's way lower than it ever was. You know that. 18% say never. 18% say rarely. Wait a minute. How is there a 31% once a month and a 5% I bet that was a mistake. This should probably say once a week. Because I bet they made an error right here. Look at this. I think we just caught an error in the survey. or in their reporting of their data, because once a month appears twice. It doesn't make sense to have that up here and then have it here. I bet you this is supposed to say once a week, because that makes sense, because the next thing is 3 times a month. They made a mistake, guys. We just caught a mistake. And it is in a word, not in a number. But that should say once a week. Wow, fascinating. I'm gonna try to hit them up about that. I'm gonna tell them, hey, you got a mistake right there. All right, so check this out. This is fascinating right here. Now, they don't include, Hebrew Israelism, because they only include Christian denominations here. But this is, pretty interesting here. Look at this, 1%, 1% or less are Presbyterian. You know what I mean? So that'd be the only, Reformed denomination in there. Although there are SBC folks who are Reformed. You consider yourself a born-again evangelical Christian. So they're saying almost 60% of black Americans say they're a born-again Christian. Largest ethnic group of church by participants. Black Americans attend a church more than other folks. You see that? And now, I'm just going to kind of show this real quick. But this is not really kind of important for our purposes. I just want to be kind of complete. I'm going to go through this real quick so you can see this if you'd like to, Okay, actually, it looks like it's a repeating of the data from a different angle, the way they're saying it, more in a summary form. All right. Wait, oh, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Look, there's a further breakdown. I didn't see this until just now. Check this out. Let's try to figure this out together, guys. Look at this. Look at this. Whoa. We didn't see this till just now. Guys, look what's on your screen. Whoa. I did not catch this till just now. Are you guys looking? Okay, guys, I need your help with what's on the screen, okay? I'm going to need your guys' help a little bit. All right? I'm going to need you guys' help. Because I did not know that this was on here. This is fascinating. Let's do this together. Okay. Which of the following best describes your opinions of black Hebrew Israelite teachings? Males are more likely to select I agree with most of the core ideas taught by black Hebrew Israelites than females. This is utterly fascinating. I did not know they had this breakdown in here. Sorry, I'm tripping out live on air because I didn't know this. Do you guys see this? 26% versus 13%. Those in the Midwest and South are more likely to select I agree with most of the core ideas taught by black Hebrewites than those in the West. That is very important because that's where churches are more established and folks are more religious. Notice, among the prior churched, Hebrew Israelism catches on better than those who are unchurched. Because I guarantee you, black church attendance in the West is lower than it is in the South. I mean, isn't that just obvious that that's the case? But that's not just black church attendance. That's with all ethnic groups across the board. Geography matters, as Al Mohler always says. This is fascinating. Ages 18 to 34 are most likely to select I agree with most of the core ideas taught by black Hebrew Israelites. So notice, the demographic that's most open to Hebrew Israelism is a younger demographic. Do you guys understand this? Most likely is 18 to 34. That's the demographic of the age. Whoa. This is crazy. Those who are high school graduates or less, or with a bachelor's degree, are more likely to select, I'm sorry, it's hard not to get on this, are more likely to select I agree with most core ideas taught by black Israelites than those with some college or graduate degree. Notice, if you're educated, got a college degree, you ain't as likely to rock with Hebrew Israelism. If you got a graduate degree, you're highly unlikely. I'm just going to leave that there. But look at this. Wait a minute. What? We've got to look into this. This is super weird, this last one. Catholics are more likely to select I agree with most of the core ideas taught by black Hebrew Israelites than other Protestants, other religions, or non-religious. What? Catholics? This is the most fascinating part of the survey I've seen yet. We have got to figure this out. Catholics. Okay, so Catholicism big in Haiti? No, but they didn't. You had to be natural. You had to be born in America to do this survey. But see, this looks like it's black Catholics who are still Catholics. Because remember, they don't claim to be Israelites. These are the folks who say, I agree with it. Right? And their Catholics are more likely than Protestants? I don't know. I don't know what to make of this right now. I did not. I don't know. This is fascinating. Now, I know I did run into quite a few Hebrew Israelites who said that they were Catholics. Ironically enough. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this. I didn't see this till just now. This is live on the air reaction. I'm sure there's some insight and analysis I'm missing here because I didn't see this till just now. I'm gonna have to relook at this report and see what else I may have missed because that's a big thing right there. I think that's the only time. You know what? Let's just go ahead and do the search function. And look one more time to see if there's any other place we've missed anything with the Hebrew Israelites, okay? So obviously on that page, we've already covered that. Okay, so it is those 2 pages only. Well, I don't think we're going to do a part 2 on this, but let me flip over. There's more to say, obviously, so I could do a part 2 hypothetically. But really, we just need to rock out of this for a second here because I need to kind of talk about this. All right. I hope this show serves as a wake-up call. Everyone's obviously not going to watch this show or whatever, but I'm trying to get the data and information out there. Christians should not be afraid of data. They should relish it. They should care about it. Now, it's true that data can be twisted, and it's true that people can play games with numbers and stuff. But I think eventually the truth comes out, and I think we should pay attention to this and still look up as a wake-up call and understand what's popping off. Because if we don't, we're just gonna be out. We're just gonna be out to lunch. This is serious stuff right here. Looking at these numbers on the screen should really make people wake up. I hope this spurns more analysis of these issues because I've got a bunch of books here in front of me. I didn't get a chance to read them. But the numbers they give are totally different than the numbers we heard today. It's like people just didn't really know. So remember, I said on here 1 million Hebrew Israelites, but really the numbers are closer to 1.6 or 1.7 million. That's the 4% number. 4% identify as Hebrew Israelites among black Americans. Now, we must stop and think for a second what those numbers would break down to, okay? We got to think about it for a second, okay? Just hold on. I'll tell you what I mean. All right, so let me tell you what I mean. Real quick here. All right. You guys are funny in the comments. You guys are wilding out in the comments. You guys are wilding out. Anyone who answered yes that says, I am a Hebrew Israelite, you got to understand there's a great diversity there. Let me try to give you a little bit of the lay of the land. First of all, remember this must include those who will be described as actual black Jews. The landmark book on that really everybody needs is actually called Black Judaism, Story of an American Movement. It's on Carolina Academic Press. It's by Landing, James E. Landing Jr., I believe is his full name. I take the covers off of my books these days, so you don't have the nice yellow and green cover, but this is the book that gives you a really good idea of the diversity of the type of Hebrew Israelites there are out there. And he mainly focuses on sort of that kind of, Black Judaism, aspect, right? And so that could be all kinds of folks, like, the Obama's cousin, Rabbi Capper's Funyeh or whatever, right? That's important. Back in the day, a Jewish man, I believe, Commission on Synagogue Relations, Federation of Jewish Philanthropies, wrote a book called Black Jews in America by Berger, Black Jews in America, a documentary with commentary. And that focuses a little bit more on that type of, Jew as well. However, not only, because he does include what are sometimes called the Black Jews of Harlem as well. Now, this research is from the 60s and 70s. But my point is, there's congregations like that you look at it and it's probably be understood as like Black Judaism. My point is, they're going to be saying, yes, that they're a Hebrew Israelite. Like actual, and also converts. So people would not say they would not say I'm an ethnic Israelite. They won't say that, but they would say I'm a Jew or a Hebrew Israelite still, because they've completed the so-called like conversion. It's not really conversion, but when a proselyte, make sure they do all the stuff, gets cleared by a rabbi, all that kind of stuff, they probably would say yes as well. There's a bunch of moderates who are saying yes to this. There's a ton of Hebrew individualites, Hebrew Israelites who don't fellowship, they don't, raise a ruckus, whatever. 4% is going to include that number of these Hebrew individualites, right? You know what I mean? And so they're going to be saying yes as well, the 4%. That's important to understand. They're included in that number as well. So they're not really active, but they're like, yeah, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I agree, Then, of course, there's going to be actual One Wester type cats. Now, I tried to do the numbers on One West before. I would be shocked if it was more than 50,000. I could see being closer to 20 or 30,000 max, but I don't know. These numbers kind of got us rethinking, because if you're talking almost 2 million people, that means the spread is even broader than you thought, covering all kinds of people in all types of locations. Like that's some wild stuff right there. Now, I know this is going to have the One Westers shouting Kwam Yasharallah, but it's like this, man. And I'm going to be frank, to the One Westers out there, the Christian church has seen heresies come and go. Some stick around, like Islam started out as a Middle Eastern heresy, rip off of Christianity, you know what I mean? But like, what's that mean? It stuck around. Others fade away. Christian Science is almost completely faded away. One day you're going to have a couple adherents left and it's just done. They're gone. And Mark Twain thought back in the day that Christian Science was going to take over normal Christianity. He said, man, I'm fearful within 50 years of my death, Christian Science, ran by Mary Baker Eddy at the time, is going to actually take over Protestant Christianity in America. Hey, we're almost at 100 viewers. Tell a friend to come on in real quick, because it'd be nice to clear 100 real quick here. So, that's fascinating. Okay, we hit over 100 now. So that's fascinating as well. Also, in that 4%, I bet you there's Christians who attend Christian church and say, yeah, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. How do I know? I know these men and women. You know what I mean? Before I ever encountered the One West variety of Hebrew Israelites, I did know a number of my friends who said, yeah, I'm a Hebrew. And I never fully understood until later on what they were actually saying. These are people who were close to me. You know what I mean? They were just kind of low-key and chill about it. But we did ministry together. We served together. I'm thinking of 2 families off the top of my head and 1 individual off the top of my head. I think there's a couple more, but I don't want to overspeak. I'm thinking of 2 families, 1 individual for certain. People I knew for a long time at different churches I was at, who would be at a church. They were at a church with me, who would, they're Black Americans. They could have responded to the survey. And yet they said, hey, I'm a Jew. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. You know what I mean? So we don't know, So this is fascinating stuff. Now, I think now that I brought this out, you are going to see Hebrew Israelites talk about it and react to it. And, they're going to do their own narrative and stuff. But look, we try to be honest here. And we're trying to give, and I want to see more analysis and data come forth. I want to see demographic experts talk about this who also understand theology. I want to see Christian-trained sociologists who understand some of this better. People more qualified. But we're trying to do a little something here and popularize it and let people know what's up. And I think this is important. I think urban apologists should take these numbers going forward and discuss these numbers. This should be part of what we discuss, because this is the first time. This is a big deal. And in fact, this is such a big deal. Guess who's the one who told me? A Jewish reporter is the person who told me about this. A secular, ethnically Jewish reporter based in a city on the East Coast said, hey, VOCAB, have you seen this? And I was like, whoa. So I didn't even find it. He's keeping tabs of what the evangelicals are doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Kim makes a good point. We're not even talking about the international situation. So she's right. We're not. That's a good point, you know? Now listen, I had a lot of books I wanted to show you guys. I'm not going to have time to show them. I've literally got about 20 books surrounding me. I was going to show you to help you think through these issues that are helpful about these issues, about relationships of, you know what I'm saying, Israel and Black America. But I just don't have time right now. I mean, I got a book on the Crown Heights riots. I got all kinds of books here. I was going to say, if you want to know more about this, here's some good stuff. Let me just show one, though, to think through these issues. I recommend a book like this, 3 Views on Israel and the Church. A little bit different than what we've been discussing tonight, but since we're talking about Israel and who she is or isn't, I think it's important for Christians to have exposure to a variety of positions. I respect all the authors in here, and you got some good stuff here, and I think it's helpful to think through this. Book I recommend, not too thick, and you get different viewpoints by some of the best theologians running around right now. Very helpful book. I think I recommend that. That's the only one I have time to look at right now. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us up for about 5 more minutes, and then we're going to jump off, and I want everyone to go watch the premiere of the Boom Boom Room. Or should we watch it live together? Nah, we won't do that. We'll just all go over to David's channel. I'll just end the broadcast. I don't want it to be 2 hours anyway. And then when you're there, see if Sakari's still talking about me making the video. What is up with these guys? They're like nonstop lately. And see what they got going on. They've already done 2 videos commentating on my sit-down with Hassad. One was 3.5 hours. The other was 2.5 hours. Seriously. You know what I mean? It's crazy right there. Now, let's end with the freestyle, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to end with the freestyle. Reason Uncensored wants to watch it together. Reason Uncensored, we will watch it together, just on David Wood's channel. No, Mr. Phil Fox, this isn't part of the Counterpoint series, because the Counterpoint series, Mr. Phil Fox, is on Zondervan. This is on Kriegel, and so it's a similar kind of idea. You know what I mean? Because Christians love to argue with each other, basically. But this is on the Kriegel. It's not the Zondervan series. My man Connor says, do a part 2. People didn't know about how widespread this issue is. Praying hard to revival sweep the nation. I tell you what, Connor. I tell you what, bro. When I get more information on this, I might do a part 2. I won't call it part 2, but I need to wait until something else comes out. I don't want to reiterate what we did tonight. So I can't be specific here, but I know about a certain Christian apologist who is in a very good position to speak on this, who's been contacted by a major Christian publication to write an article on this issue, giving his perspective for the numbers and the data. He showed me a draft of the article. If that article drops, then I might do a follow-up, because that will be important to get some of his insight into this discussion and talk about it. And that might be a time I do it. Now, tomorrow I'm going live to talk about this cop who's been put on leave because he was a Hebrew Israelite. That's going to be a fascinating show. You're going to want to read the news articles with me. I dug up some videos I don't think anyone else has really promoted yet. I think you're going to want to see what I've got tomorrow. So join me tomorrow around 7 o'clock Arizona time. So that's 6 o'clock West Coast, 9 o'clock East Coast, same time as today. The show got moved around because I did a show with G-Con. But you definitely want to rock with me on that. Okay? And with that, let me go ahead and see what Sakari's saying later on and watch this. But let's close this show out with a freestyle, ladies and gentlemen, because I've got a pretty dope little beat by my man Jonathan Soko. Here we go. I rock swell, discussing the state of Israel. What does the AA community think? We read the ink, don't blink. cause we learned a lot of data. Went through pages and pages like a chapter. I'm not the master of the polling, so I had a look and I was consoling those who were kind of sad. Hey yo, these figures are like kind of bad. Some of y'all tripping and got kind of mad. The Hebrew Israelites got kind of glad. Yeah, vocab is not fearful, because I'm with Christ and I'm so cheerful. I trust him, we will win. Got the victory, it's the truth, my friend. Read Revelation 10 and you can see it again and again. If you get scared, go ahead and skip to the end. Read the Bible again. The end says we will overcome. Jesus the Christ, 3 in 1. That's a triune God. And then some plus his people, because we have union. Yeah, you're with the God of the universe. So I fell off, but I spit this ill type of verse. Come back with the dumb rap. I on point like a thumbtack. VOCAB MALONE, party people, where you at? Hey yo, peep it out. They surveyed the black community, discussing the unity of the state of Israel. It's not new to me, but the data certainly was. Hey yo, tripping out. Tomorrow's show is on the fuzz. IUICOP tonight. I meant tomorrow. Yo, I gotta get it right. Alright. Now I'm rocking the mic. Hey yo, he's coming back for a bride without blight, without spot, all white, meaning pure, so you better get it right. Okay, peep it out now, I'm warmer than flannel. In a few seconds, we're gonna switch to a different channel. David Wood, up in the hood, Act 17, so you know it's all good. We got a new thing for you to consume. Muhammad meet a clan man in the boom boom room. Boom boom at the end, turn up the volume and you'll hear an explosion in the room. Yo, we know that the guest is doomed. Peep it out now, because Muhammad, he looms. His finger over the button. Don't be frontin'. Hey yo, Hebrew Israelites, let me tell you something. Yeah, you may be growing, but I'm still flowing. I looked at the data and I am showing, unloading, exposing the truth about the truth, because I'm not scared when I step in the booth. Okay, here we go. I won't disappear like poof. Hit me in the stomach and I might say oof. I'm a man, so I bleed, but a man, so I read. I see Jesus Christ, he's the one who frees indeed. I proceed to rock the mic like the Roots crew back in the day. I rock it right. Hey yo, this is the end of this beat. Hey yo, so go, you accomplished amazing feat. I went for a minute. Alright y'all, we do some freestyles. Shout out to everybody. Much love to y'all. See you tomorrow. This is dope. What's up, Christopher Young? I see you. Alright, I'm just gonna let this beat ride and we're gonna go over there to the Boom Boom Room. Alright, y'all, peace out. See you tomorrow. Street Apologist Live, where we make apologetics fun again. That's right.